Good morning. Apostle William D. McGee Jr. here at Fanatic Central 101 here in San Antonio, Texas. You see, I'm not afraid to tell you who I am. I want you to know who I am. I want you to know where I'm at. I want you to know that I'm a real person. And you're like, how come you're not at your job? I said, well, this is my job. This is my labor. This is what God has created me to do, to be a Neo in the Matrix here in America and abroad, especially here in San Antonio. A hub for the NAU/NAFTA. Brahim Habaim, welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Guten Morgen. Bonjour. Buongiorno. Ni hao. Mihaba. Kamsamida. And what's up to the rest of the world that speak English? What are we going to talk about today? I want to let you know in my few minutes that I have to speak every day, I'm always looking at the big picture. 61 years old. I've been on this earth 61 years. And from the 61 years, I spent 20 of them in the military, protecting this land as I thought I was. You see, some military, we love the land more than the land loves us, more than America loves us. Because to America, to those that are in charge running the show, we're just a number. See, we're from the Vietnam era, so I'm from the Vietnam era, so we're just a number. The Vietnam era veterans were treated with no respect. We came back being called baby killers and all these things, and they didn't march. They didn't give us a parade. They didn't do any of that. They weren't even happy to see that we were back. So many in the jungles, so many still fighting the Vietnam War, so many fighting the Korean War, so many fighting all these other wars still in their mind. It's fresh. And we come back to the world, as we called it. I sat there at Fort Papawan up there in South Korea, looking over into North Korea every day. We even played cards with the North Koreans. We even hung out with the North Koreans because the soldiers don't have a problem. It's the governments that have a problem. It's those that are running the whole thing that have a problem with one another. The people at the low end, we ain't got no problem. We seem to get along just fine. We're expendable. I found that out. That when you are in the military, you're expendable. Not just you, but your family. If you're married and they're with you in that area, or they're overseas in Europe and everywhere else that military go, all expendable. Now I can see me being expendable because I'm a government issue. I'm a soldier. But don't say my wife and my children are expendable as well. Because not only did you put me in harm's way, but you brought them in harm's way. Because you said, well, we're going to bring your family with you so you can sit over in Europe, or you can sit over in Korea, you can sit over, and they could be right there with you if the balloon goes up. See, these are the things that the American people, most of the ones that are not military, most of the ones that walk around here talking this noise, they don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. See, like I told you, Fanatic Central 101. We can go far left, far right. Nothing is out of bounds here on this on this talk show. Which I'm not a talk show. I'm just a 61-year-old man trying to give you some wisdom, some knowledge, and some understanding. Yesterday, May 1st, we had all kinds of protests. Everybody running around all over across the world protesting the establishment. But guess what? What they don't know is they're the part of the same establishment that they're protesting against. Why? Because they fail to realize that when you protest, guess what? They already know you're going to protest on May 1st. That's why they put the police out there. If you're going to protest, you got to get a protest permit. Do you have your papers to protest? Now, if you're going to protest, just go protest. You got to have papers. You got to have a permit to have a peaceful demonstration. When you don't know that you could, as long as you stay on the sidewalk and protest and out of the road, then you ain't got no reason to fill out a permit to protest. Because the sidewalk, public. Street, public, but if you stop traffic flow, well, now you're committing a crime. But if you're on the sidewalk protesting, you can protest all you want to, as long as you don't hinder the people. You can pass out your flyers if you have some. You can do all that. But when you come running and taking over a road, shut down the traffic, then guess what? You can rest assured that the popo, as Mud Deer said, the popo will be there to escort you and your group either off the street. And if you want to get violent, well, guess what? They don't mind getting violent with you. Because they have a job to do. And the ones that you're protesting against, like fighting with the police, you're just wasting your energy. Because the police is like the foot soldier of the whole process, the establishment. They are the enforcers. It says law enforcement. Protect and serve. The citizens, you, they're not there to enforce what's coming up from the top, like Donald Trump and Jeff Sessions are trying to get them to do now, with the ICE thing. Okay, they want to throw them into that arena. They shouldn't have to do that, because their job is to protect and serve the citizens of the city, of the town, of the county. Your fight, those protesters, your fight is in Washington. Your fight is at White House Central up there, Oval Office, and those guys up there. And guess what? When you march up there and you get rowdy like you do down here in the city, burning up stuff, well, guess what? You can rest assured that all of you will be whisked away. Or maybe not, because they use the protest as a means of control. They already know that you're going to protest. That's why they do it. They press the issue to see how many people are going to protest about this or that. All the protests that you're talking about May 1st, they already know that you're going to be out there on May 1st. So you should have did something a little bit different. Like not show up. Not even, if you're going to protest, do it their way. Gather up all the people that you have. All the people. If it's 1 million people, say, we need $2 from you. That's $2 million. And then you put on your tie and your suit. And then you go up and become a lobbyist and lobby one of the senators or whatever over the areas that you are protesting about. Then they may listen to you. Then you might have a better chance of them hearing you than standing outside with a sign holding it up saying, we're against this and we're against this. Or Black Lives Matter. Or White Lives Matter. Or whatever lives matter. Because everybody's life matter. Let me tell you something. If you're running around saying Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, Brown Lives Matter, you are still locked away in your box. You're still part of the racial divide. They use the racial divide to divide and conquer you. When they say, oh, you're an African American, I'm like, no. I'm just I'm an American that just so happen to be black. I don't know anything about Africa because Africans that fly over on the airplane, they're African Americans. They fly over here and they're African Americans. They get their citizenship. They're Africans because they know where they came from. We don't know. We were inseminated into the melting pot. Okay? Our people were into the melting pot, right? And then they came out. We're more Americans than the ones who put the fire under the melting pot. Because they were still Europeans. We were assimilated into the melting pot and came out a new issue. We no longer had an African name. Kunta. No. Our name was Toby now. Or whatever name the Massa wanted to call you. But the Massa continued his own concept. He never changed. We changed. We are more American from those plantations than they are. That's why they kept us ignorant. That's why they kept us uneducated. That's why they kept everything controlled. This is what I'm trying to tell you. When you allow those issues to eat at you and eat at you, you're no better than they are. You're no better than the Tubob, the white devil, or the Indians and Native Americans call them the man with the forked tongue. We had one thing, and we always had it, going for us. God loves an underdog. Even though it seemed like it took forever for him to move, God loves the underdog. That's why he's love. He says, love overcomes a multitude of sin. It is written in the scriptures. In the scriptures. I'm not going to say the Bible, but it's written in the scriptures that love, which is God, overcomes the multitude of sin. Whatever sin there is on the earth, love overcomes that. Whatever struggles are on the earth, love overcomes that. And when his son came, those who believe that he came, which was love and flesh, came and said, I come in my Father's name. Here's something, I'm going to go spiritual today. I come in my Father's name. What is his Father's name? His Father's name is love. He says, I come in my Father's name. Because see, you're too religious. And those that are in those church buildings. The church is actually many corporations. When they get a 501(c), that means they can't talk across the pulpit. Political. There's a separation of church and state. They can't talk political in their so-called churches across that pulpit, or they will lose their 501(c) status, taxable status. So, you're thinking you're going to church, but you're actually going to these many corporations that are getting a tax break from the government. That's where your tithes and your offerings and all that is going in. And that's why the bigger the building, the bigger the corporation.